Yeah, Anson should be a high school student. Hello, Anson.
Hello, Anson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Time is up. Yeah. So I think welcome. First of all, welcome Vincent. Yeah, Vincent Hu Qifan. Yeah, he is actually a CTU Electrical Engineering Department alumni, and tonight we are very happy to invite Vincent to come and share with us from Shanghai. So he's physically now in Shanghai using Zoom to join us. And I would like to quickly brief introduce Vincent to all of you. And Vincent is like a graduated from CityU-EE department 9 years ago. And he worked in United States after he received his master degree in CMU and also research position in Stanford. I leave that part for him to share more with you. But one thing I want to highlight is he's now not in United States. Maybe it's not because of the US and also China, like a tech war, right? So I think it's what we want to learn from him is why he chose to come back to China and why he want to come back to Shanghai and what is he doing. And I think there's so many things we would like to listen from him. Maybe I would like to pass the time to Vincent to briefly introduce him first. And would like to encourage all of us, parent, teacher, and also university student to prepare maybe one or two questions that we can ask. The time frame for tonight will be, we arrange for 1 hour, but depending on how many questions we have, we can make it shorter, more concise, or we can make it at max 1 hour. The time is yours. Vincent, thank you.
Thank you, Ray. That was a very good introduction, actually. Doing much better than me. Hello, everybody. So I'm Vincent Qifan Hu. So in Chinese, my name is Hu Qifan. So I'm from Shanghai. So I entered the CTU like in 2007, which is 13 years ago. So I went to Hong Kong through the National College examination. So I could go to some very good universities in China, for example, the Tsinghua and Peking University, but I didn't do that actually. That's why, because I wanted to see a lot more of the world. Because when I was young, I didn't have a lot of chance for that. So and it turns out that the Hong Kong experience has been a very good experience for me and a very precious experience for my life generally. So, so first of all, I'm going to briefly introduce my education background. So I entered CityU in 2007 and earned my master degree, earned my bachelor's degree in electronic engineering. I also minored in computer science. So it's a 4-year period in Hong Kong, and I did learn a lot, especially from my advisor, Wei Chong. So I do remember that. So when I was in Hong Kong, I did have a lot of chance to talk with a lot of international students. For example, we had tours to Japan, we had tours to Singapore, and we also had tours to the United States when I was already in college. So those experience has been benefiting me a lot through today. So after my undergraduate education, I went to the United States actually. So the college I went for is Carnegie Mellon University. So there's a reason why I'm choosing this one, because Carnegie Mellon University, aka CMU, so it's the best computer science university in the whole world actually. So it has the most best professors, has the best talented students and all of that. So I earned my degree Master of Science in Robotics. So talking about the robotics, you might think of something very like a humanoid thing. For example, you're moving your legs, you're moving your head, and you're building a physical robotic to do the things. But for me, when I was learning robotics, I'm more focused on the software part, which is the artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is a core or the brain of the robots, frankly. So after that, I also went to the Stanford University for like a couple months of research. So the topics I was researching for is also related to artificial intelligence, and more precisely, it's about the computer vision stuff. And I did work with some very talented people around the world to work on some specific projects. And that was a very good experience for me. So my life in the United States. So after graduation, I went for work just like a normal person. So in 2013, I went to Amazon. So Amazon was one of the largest technology company in the world. So I believe everybody knows. So when I first joined Amazon, I was like a newbie. I didn't have a lot of like working experience or the knowledge or something to first of all. So it was a very good experience for me because I did see a lot of talented engineers around me. So there's one thing I have to mention, which is a lot of the Caucasian engineers, for example, or the American engineers, they start to learn programming like from very young. For example, like primary school, like grade 1, grade 2 or something. So they learned computer science very early stage, so they can basically grasp more knowledge than us. For example, I didn't learn like computer science until like high school. So it's like many years of the experience difference. So you can see a lot of people like this in America, especially in the tech giants in the United States. So after like brief 2 years working Amazon, I went to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, I believe everybody knows, it's a profile company, profile technology company, and I believe everybody of you have a LinkedIn profile. So I worked as a software engineer, and LinkedIn was later acquired by Microsoft. So today LinkedIn is a Microsoft branch. So I also had some very special experience in LinkedIn, which is about the machine learning. Because in LinkedIn, we also have to do a lot of things. For example, you're trying to see a lot of ads. It's ads on your profile actually. So the ads have to be related to the profile, to your profile. And for example, they have to recommend you posts, recommend you jobs related to what related to your experience and related to what you have done so far. So there's a lot of work related inside here. So after my like 1 year experience in LinkedIn, I went to Google. So in Google, I worked as a software, like a senior software engineer, because it's already a couple of years later. So in Google, we worked on the display ads team. So I believe everybody knows that the Google ads team is the cash cow of Google, because more than 90% of the Google's revenue is from the ads team. So in ads, we do have to face a lot of like world leading questions. For example, how do you target the best customers with the best ads? That is the ultimate question. So we did test a lot of like algorithms, a lot of things, test a lot of data, and trigger a lot of like things in order to make the program run better. So it was a very tough year in Google, because you really have a challenge with a lot of good engineers. So this is my brief introduction to my professional experience in the United States. So after that, I went back to China. So first of all, when I first went back to China, I didn't have a lot of like idea what I'm going to do, because you have to face a shift from an employee to an entrepreneur. You start to work on something. You begin with working on something you're taught by your like company, or you're like the higher ups in the company. You have to make up things by yourself. You have to think of what kind of projects you can do and what kind of the projects you can bring money. You can bring money from the investors. Only money from investors or money from incomes you can grow your business. So it's a very big challenge, and it's a totally different thing with working in a technology company. So I founded a Longgate Group as a chairman, and this group today runs business in multiple sectors, and including the investment sector, real estate sector, and the construction sectors, etc. So I'm going to introduce a little bit about the technology landscape in China actually. So technology is one of the fastest growing economic sector in China. And as everybody knows that we have two big giants technology companies in China, which is Alibaba and Tencent. Alibaba, I don't have to mention too much. They have the Taobao, they have the Alipay and all of stuff. And Tencent, we have QQ, and we also have WeChat. And we also have many uprunners like tier two companies, including Meituan, Didi, Toutiao, etc. And from the general technology side, China is catching up very, very fast with the United States. So why I'm saying this, because if you look back like 10 years ago, you don't see a lot of Chinese technology companies around the world. But today, a lot of the leading edge technology products are from Chinese companies. So for example, Douyin, which is also known as TikTok, which is with the most popular like short video apps in the world, especially in the United States, because that was one of the reasons why it was banned by Donald Trump, because it was too famous. And also one thing I have to mention is the fintech. So fintech in China today is developing very, very fast, and it's leading the whole world in terms of this. So for example, we have the Alipay, and we also have WeChat payment. So one thing I have to mention is the blockchain technology. So why I'm mentioning this? Because blockchain technology is widely concerned one of the biggest change so far, the disruptive innovation so far, because it could potentially change the way the network is organized and a lot of things. So if you're interested, you can do more research on this topic. So here are some quick insights from me. So coding is a very fundamental skill in the future. So maybe today, a lot of the people in Hong Kong, they don't like to learn engineering. They don't like to learn computer science. But I do have to mention that coding is a fundamental skills. So a lot of the traditional skills, for example, even for finance, even for engineering, even for like construction engineering and all the civil engineers and all of those stuff, they're pretty like old-fashioned without computer science. So today, for example, if you want to design, even for artists, if you want to design, you have to come up with the right software to do that. And for musicians, you also have to use the right musical tools to do that. So what I'm saying is that coding is a fundamental skill in the future, and it could potentially change the way how to see this world. So in China, we do have a concept which is called Internet Plus, which means that Internet plus some other industries, they could generate a big better things. So another quick insight is the COVID-19. So as everybody knows that we do have the COVID-19 throughout the whole world, and also we do have a lot of chances with that. So everybody knows that Asian countries, including China, Hong Kong, and the Korea, Japan, and stuff, they all have better strategies, and they're all doing better regarding the COVID-19. So this is potentially a very large incident for global landscape changing. So why I'm saying this is that you do see the economic decline in United States, European countries, and all of stuff. But in China, you do see the economy is still growing very fast. So it could be a very, very big event from 10 years today. Another insight is that is about the Bay Area synergy. So we can expect a lot of the industry landscaping reshaping. What I'm saying is that Hong Kong as a global hub for like finance, for a lot of things, so it can try to commute and try to combine with Shenzhen and some other country and some other cities in Guangdong province, and they can generate better things, better outcomes in the future, definitely. So this is also something that I do have to share is that technology is playing a very, very big part here, because the traditional finance, the traditional logistics and all those stuff, they will be out-fashioned very, very soon. And every industry, you do have to combine with technology in order for this industry to prosper. So that is why I'm calling coding is a fundamental skill in the future. Thank you. So that's a brief, very, very brief introduction, actually.
Thank you, Vincent. Yeah, I have already prepared a few questions for you. Please, for all the audience, now you can see we have almost 25 people with us tonight. I can see there are many parents, university students like Pei Xin and Chen Feng. There are actually many top students from CityU as well. So I would like to divide your learning journey into 3 stages. The first
Yes.
stage is the time when you are like a high school student, and then before you make your choice to come to Hong Kong. And I think we can talk about this tonight. And then the second stage is your journey in EE. You talk about coding, you talk about engineering, skills. How do you spend your I think at that time you were like 3 years, if I remember correctly. You studied 3 years in Hong Kong, or 4 years at that time.
4 years, yes.
4 years, okay, good. So then later on, I think you go to US and almost I think 6 or 7 years in US, and then you hop around in different company. Maybe you can also let us know why you don't want to stay in one company for maybe 5 or 10 years. That kind of question we are going to ask you. So I think before we go into our first stage for the sharing tonight, maybe I can do my share screen, because I think it's also a good time for me to ask you a question related to your study. Again, it's not a promotion for the department, but I think it's also good for our students. I mean, the audience know. So by the time when you come to Hong Kong, you will have a chance to choose many university, and again, CTU, there's a EE department. Which major do you study at that time?
So I did choose electronic and the electrical engineering.
That's right. So you choose the hardcore one. I think at that time,
Yes.
EE, but this year
Yes.
we changed. We call it EEE. Okay. So how do you make your choice to CTU, and how do you make your choice to EE, and also how do you make your choice to like this program? Because you mentioned you are like your exam, you can go to Tsinghua, you can go to many places. How do you land in this place, and what actually you learn from us? Maybe you can share more with us, please.
So briefly speaking, like I mentioned, when I was in high school in China mainland, I didn't have a lot of chance to go touch the world actually. So it was like a pretty strict places. So when I was very, very young, I had a very deep desire to reach out for the world. So that's why when I see the when I see Hong Kong universities, I can within my choice list, I went for them straight. So I do remember a very interesting story. So I already picked my choice, for example, to go to Nanking University, which is also one of the best university in China. So in the literally the last day of the choice. So on the day I had to submit my choice to the central government or something. So on the last day I went straight to the government office. I changed my choice manually, and on the last day, that is the last time that was the last minute that I had to make this choice. Regarding why I'm making this choice, there's one person I have to mention, which is my English teacher in high school. So my English teacher in high school, he had a lot of experience with Hong Kong, and he did mention a lot of the good things about Hong Kong. For example, the free and the very good education and those stuff. And that is a very, very good seed under my heart in order for me to make this choice actually. So regarding which program I have to learn is that, first of all, I need to learn some hardcore stuff, because if I'm not learning hardcore stuff while I'm coming to Hong Kong, there's no need for me to do that. I can learn like softer skills everywhere in the world. So I do have to learn the hardcore stuff. And also I do have like friends. So they're like 1 year senior than me. They recommend the electronic and communication engineering, which is the ECE by that time, and today we call it EEE, right? So he recommended me to take this course, and he said that this program is a very interesting program, and you can learn a lot of things. And of course, by then I didn't have knowledge. I didn't have a lot of knowledge of what I'm going to face, of course, obviously. So, and I think it's a very good, interesting choice for me. And within that course, I do have a lot of chance to go overseas. So there's one thing I do have to mention is that I did participate in a robotic competition in the ECE program. So that's a program. That is me. Okay. So that was a program mentioned, hosted by Robin. So Robin, the Professor Robin, so he hosted this event in order to teach you how to build a robot from the ground up. So for example, you have to stick wheels together. You do have to stick all the mechanical parts together. And you do have to program. And you do have to make the correct programs in order for the robots to run. So, and eventually you have to beat the competitors from Hong Kong, and eventually to beat the global competitors. That is a very, very good experience for me. And in order to attend the global competition, we also visited the United States, which is Boston. If I do remember correctly, I visited Boston when I was in 2009, which is 11 years ago. And that short visit to the United States is a very precious experience for me, actually. So I do have to say that making the choice for ECE is the correct choice for me.
Cool. So how do you connect the EC program with your job in Amazon, and I think we are having a jump, right? So what you have been learning, and talk about the job market. Do you feel like you are more competitive than the US graduate when you are working in United States Amazon? What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, this is a very good question. So I have to say that for every course, for every career path you're taking, you have to take the fundamentals first. So I would say that the program, the ECE program or the EEE program, so it lays a very, very good foundation for me. So for example, you have to program the assembly language. So as a lot of people know, and to those who don't know what is assembly. So assembly is the very, very fundamental programming language, which is embedded into the chips, into the very, very small chips. So that is a very basic fundamental thing for the whole like computer science world, for the whole electronic engineering world. So you have to program assembly language. So from the ground up. And those you do have to learn, like you can have see that how the computer language evolves through the ladder. So what kind of ladder? So it's the application ladder. For example, from ground up, you have the assembly language, and then you have application languages, and apart from that, you have the apps and all of the stuff. So it's a ladder of the difficulty of software programming. So from the ECE program, you can learn the very fundamental things laying under the ground, which is a very big plus for me. As for the United States job market, so I do have to say that Asian people in the United States, they have a pretty good chance for job. So what I'm saying that is a lot of the Caucasian students, for example, the white students, so they can learn the program from very early stage, like primary school. But we Asian students, we study harder than them. So which means that basically in 5 years or something, 5 years of study, we can catch up very, very fast. So, and with 2 years of working experience, we can also do very, very good in those kind of jobs. But we do have one thing, which I believe everybody knows for the Chinese students, is that we don't communicate very well like the Indian people. So a lot of the Indian students, they can, because they have the English as their mother tongue, so they basically speak better. So, so I would have to say that the Chinese students within the United States, they have very deep fundamentals, and they can, with their hard learning, they can get very good jobs as long as you work hard. Yes.
So you're saying the training in Hong Kong actually bring you a lot of a competitive edge in the even the job market in US. Now we see some student in our chat room now. They are like a top like a university student or maybe top high school student. They they may want to like get the best from their university study. So what's your advice for them? So for them to spend this 4 year, should they like do an internship or follow a professors to do some research or like go to many like a university in different part of the world and get more international exposure? What is your opinion on that?
So I would have to say this. This is up to every person. What kind of career path they want to take. So if they want to take on the professional career path, of course, they do have to participate in some of the how to say the internships and the projects by professors, of course, because that is a very good practical experience. Because if you don't do internships, you don't do like projects, you don't have you don't know what's really going on in the real world. Because the knowledge you're learning from the textbook is dead. The knowledge you're learning from the project is life. So I would say internships and projects led by professors, they are very much necessary. And of course, the international exposure is also very crucial. Why I'm saying this is you have, in order to learn something well, you do have to communicate with other people of the same knowledge, because people from different backgrounds, they share, when they share knowledges, they can spike more and more ideas. So I would say that international exposure is also very important. But in Hong Kong, I don't think you have to worry about this, because Hong Kong is very famous international hub. So they do have people they do have students from around the globe. So I don't think this would be a problem for the Hong Kong students actually.
Right. Now we are moving slowly from university study forward to like your master study. So you must have applied to maybe 10 different universities. If I remember correctly, I also provide you like a strong reference letter, right? I think you did a very good job. So how do you make your choice to all these different university? And at the end, how do you make up your mind to go to CMU and maybe you're working in AI or some other domain? Can you give some advice for the participants here?
Yes. So there's one thing I do have to say, that the study experience in Hong Kong, especially in City University of Hong Kong, so the experience can really bring you an edge in kind of when you're trying to apply for graduate studies. Why? Because the City University of Hong Kong, their professors are like worldwide. So they have famous publications, and they have very good fame in this kind of industry. So when you try to get a reference letter from your professors, of course the recognition of the professors is one of the biggest influence point. So regarding this, my reference letter from Dr. Ri Chang is very important for me to get my to get my graduation offer. So I did apply for like as I remember correctly, like 7 to 10 university in the United States, and every single one of them is very famous for computer science. So especially Carnegie Mellon, so it's one of the best school for computer science in this industry. It, and there's
Right.
one thing I do have to mention about CMU is that for many schools, computer science is only a department. For example, they call it a department of computer science, but for Carnegie Mellon, they're calling it a school of computer science. So why they're calling the school? Because they have 7 departments within computer science. So which means that the alumni numbers and the number of projects in Carnegie Mellon is like 7 times more than other universities. For example, Stanford, for example, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So CMU definitely is one of the best within computer science industry. So that is why I'm choosing CMU. So there's another very important issue why I'm choosing it is CMU is located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it's a place which you don't have a lot of how to say there's not many places you can go around. The only thing you can do is to stay at school and study, and that is very important for me at that time. It creates a very tight, very close environment for me. Yeah, at that time.
Right. Talking about the CMU CS, School of CS, I have a question for you, but since we have Tony, who got a nice question for you, I would like to skip my part first. Tony's question is, when you are young, what is your key driver to motivate yourself? Is it your teacher, your parent, or is there anything to drive you?
I have to say that when I was young, the only my major drive is that I have to do better than other people. I think that's a major drive, because when I was hanging out with my friends, for example, I always try to be the best among them. So that is why I spend a lot of time to study. I spend a lot of times doing all kinds of projects and all of the stuff. I always try to prove that I'm the best.
Cool. So it's a self-esteem. My question, let me continue. Feel free, everybody feel free to ask your question. So actually you can see this is a Human Computer Interaction Institute in CMU in this School of Computer Science. So
Yes.
since tonight is a EE webinar and we are in EE and also you do a minor in CS and then you get your master in CS. So my question is a little bit tricky. I always like to give a tricky question. So the question is, now you can see people that are using some soldering. Does your EE background give you advantage when you are going forward in a CS department for your higher study? Or do you feel like you are lagging behind as compared to other CS students? So what is your opinion on that?
Yeah. Frankly, I have to say that I do have an edge regarding this, because there's one example I have to mention very well. So which is that I do have a lot of Indian students with me together, because as everybody knows that the American universities, they like to accept Indian students for graduate study. So a lot of the Indian students, they don't know how to solder at all. They've never touched the soldering machine and all the stuff. I don't know the reason, but when it comes to the soldering and the sticking parts together and do all of the stuff and trying to really build a robot and all the stuff, the Indian people know nothing. They know nothing. The only thing they know is just to try to code, and they don't code as well either. So I have to say that the Chinese people, and especially under the education, with the education of the city university, this is a very big advantage for you.
Cool. So EE actually bring you a new dimension and advantage over other competitors, right?
Yes.
That is a key message takeaway. Like moving forward, so you spend 1 year or 2 years doing your master degree in CMU. Maybe you can tell us how you spend your time there, doing a lot of homework. Like, do you have like assignment every week, or you only have one quiz in one semester? How is it like?
We do have a lot of quizzes all over the semester. We have 2 semesters for a year, and there are a lot of quizzes for every single course every semester. For example, like at least 5 to 10 of them for one course. So coursework, of course, you have to prepare for it, and you have to achieve very good scores in coursework. And another part is the project, because project generally accounts for like 30% or 40% of the final score. So you also have to focus a lot of time on the projects. So there's one thing I have to mention, that the projects in Carnegie Mellon is super hard, and it can take like 90% of your time. Because why I'm saying this is a lot of the projects, they don't teach you how to do it. You have to figure it out all by yourself, or with your teammate, of course. And you have to do from scratch up and do all of things, do all the explorations by yourself. So that is why it takes a lot of time. And this is one thing. Another thing is you're trying to compete with students from with very good students from other countries as well. So the competition, the stress you're feeling is also very strong. So that's why you have to really focus on the course, on the projects in order to achieve very good scores in CMU. And the CMU has a very famous quote, which is "My heart is in the work." This one was said by the first president of the university, I guess. So the CMU promotes a kind of spirit which is hard working. You really have to study the things you're learning, and you really have to spend your time in your coursework. And that is when in college and after graduation, you really have to focus on your jobs and all of the stuff. So they kind of promote a spirit which is hardworking.
Cool. Yeah. So the like life is not easy. Yeah, but if you love what you're doing, you will never feel tired. So I think what we see from Vincent is like ambitious and also hard work and a lot of amazing effort. So now I think yeah, time you can see we are very relaxed and night chat. My camera is not working. I'm not sure if you can see me, but I think what we really want to move forward is feel free to ask questions. Everybody, we can see answer. We can see more and more university student here. So my next question is about your like a Stanford journey. So why do you spend in Stanford just a few months? Why do you stay longer? Why? What do you do there? Yeah.
Because I didn't have to stay longer. Because when I was in CMU, I had an advisor, which is also very famous in this industry. So he recommended another project to me in Stanford, which I do have to. I do have to work with another very famous professor in Stanford, which is called Fei Li. So if you Google Fei Li, you can find a lot of information about him. Fei Li, Fei Li.
Right. So is it he or she? Fei Li. I think I thought
Yes, she. Yes, she.
she.
Sorry.
Okay. She's a very famous. So you
Yes.
manage. You actually went with her. Oh my God. So this is amazing. Yeah. This is good. So what do you do with her?
So Fei Li is a very famous professor for computer vision algorithms. So we did spend a lot of time trying to invent some new algorithms, for example, in this industry. So specifically, we worked on some project which is it's like a hardware software synergy project. For example, I invented a glass, which is like a Google Glass, but it was like a couple of years earlier than Google Glass. So you try to say something to the hardware, which is the glass you're wearing, and they try to find the thing in your real life. So it's a hardware combined with software thing.
Yeah. Everybody, you can see Fei Li. Just Google her name. You will find out she was born in China and she lived in I think New Jersey, and then she graduated from Princeton, and later on she worked in MIT and now in Columbia, and I think she's in Stanford at the moment. And again, she's very famous in the field. Yeah, I think you spend some good time with her. Is that the reason why you moved from like a Pittsburgh to like a Silicon Valley, and then after that you get your job in Amazon because you look like you're doing some AI stuff, right? So what's your first job about? What do you do in Amazon? Yeah. Do you do assembly coding in Amazon?
So my first job in Amazon doesn't actually have a lot of things with AI actually. So because by that time, Amazon doesn't have a lot of AI positions. So my first job in Amazon, which is we'll try to build a software system, the mobile software system, which is Kindle OS. So what I did is I tried to build the fundamental, which is called the CMS, central management database systems. So it was a lot of work trying to. It's a lot of work with the hardware because why I'm choosing this job is because I learned double in my undergraduate, so I tried to do some job related to hardware. So that's why this is my first job is about.
Got it. Yeah. So Amazon. Yeah. So people we like to work in Amazon. Um, so do you code a lot at that time, or you do a lot of engineering work against soldering, or some kind of I remember you are my FIP student, so you work on FPGA, like a chips design at that time. Did you apply what you have been learning at that time to your career path up till now?
For the FPGA thing, not really actually. But for my job in Amazon, I didn't have to do anything with soldering at all. So it's a tablet or it's a phone brought to you, and it's a finished product. You don't have to do any soldering. The thing is try to build software based on those, and you can try to put your programs inside the software, inside the hardware, and see how it runs, and do a lot of testing back and forth.
Cool. Yeah. So are you tied to work in Amazon? That's the reason why you moved to LinkedIn.
Because in Silicon Valley, you don't generally work in one single company for many years. So that is just what everybody does. Because in Silicon Valley, there's so many kind of good companies, and there's so many good technologies. Nobody. I mean, I'm not actually nobody, but very few people tie themselves very close to one single company, because for example, you learn one kind of technology in one company, you always try to see what other companies are doing. Maybe they have some better ideas, or maybe they have some better things going on. You just don't know. So especially in your early career, you do have to see what's going on more broadly in this industry. So that is what I need. I think when I think the Amazon job is pretty like enough for me, so I went for a different job.
Cool. Yeah. So moving around, hopping around, and gaining the experience is a typical phenomenon in Silicon Valley.
Yes.
Anson, he has a question. What will be the technological demand in China and the world in near future, in your opinion, as a young talent? Yeah.
Because in China, there are a lot of things going on actually. So there are a couple of things I mentioned. For example, one thing is the fintech. Fintech, we do have the Alipay and the WeChat payments, as I mentioned before. So so Alipay, if you have ever used Alipay, you will see how advanced it is and how convenient it is. So this is definitely one of the hot areas in China. So another thing I have to mention is IoT. IoT stands for Internet of Things. So Internet of Things, they're trying to combine hardwares. They try to bring hardwares to the network, to the internet. For example, you can try to remotely control the fridge, for example, in your home, and the television in your home. You don't have to touch any buttons or the remote. You don't have to control the remote to control television. You just do things on your phone and all those stuff. So Internet of Things is another big area within China which is going on, and the smart home is only one of the very limited example of it. For example, when it comes to the industry, IoT, there are more things which can be done. For example, you can try to monitor the whole process of the manufacturing of the machines and all the stuff, and also you can try to remotely monitor plants of different factories and other things. So Internet of Things is another very big hot technology in China going on today, and you don't see a lot of this going on in the United States actually, because United States people are getting used to their old-fashioned lifestyles, and they don't kind of like have a lot of space for this kind of things. So Internet of Things, this technology is developing very fast in China instead. So there are some other things which are going on very fast in China, which is the blockchain technology. I do have to mention this. Why? Because if you did study this kind of technology, you definitely know the concept of bitcoins and the Ethereum or all those stuff. So the Bitcoins, 99%, maybe not even 99, like 90% of the Bitcoin mines are in China. And a lot of the people in this industry is also in China. So like Chinese engineers pretty much like take up like more than 50% of the engineers in this whole industry. So blockchain is also going on very fast. So So here are the three things that can come up very quickly in my mind, which is fintech, IoT, and blockchain.
Thank you, Vincent. Yeah, we have a question from Lo Galer. His question is that no code and less code will become the trend if everyone knows how to code in the future? What's your opinion? Yeah, digital literacy for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very good question. So what I'm thinking is that coding is a skill, but it doesn't mean that you have to code. So a lot of people are learning coding, but they just don't code. Because so what I'm saying is the coding is a way of thinking. So for example, you know how to make this thing work, and you know from the computer's perspective how he understands human language and how he understands humans interaction, people's order to the machines. So that is the interaction problem. So, and this is also how we try to interact with the physical world. So when we try to when we try to communicate with people, we speak languages, right? We speak English, we speak Chinese, and all of stuff. But when we try to communicate with computers, we code, and we write in in languages that computers can understand in order for computers to execute in order to understand what you're trying to talk about. So coding is more about a way of thinking. You don't have to code at all, but you do have to know why computers are doing this and what they are thinking. And you have to understand like and another thing is you can understand how things are changing. Because if you know how to code, you will realize that how much the world is relying on coding, is relying on technology. Every single software you're using today, every apps you are using for regular person, and every websites for example big business, for traditional business, they also have to use the coding the things. So when you try to learn coding, you can understand how much coding is, how important coding is to our real life. So coding is not something you have to do, but you have to understand.
Yeah, the idea is similar to we know how to write, but today I believe many of us, unless you sign a check, you don't usually write a lot. You type in your computer, but you know how to write, it will be following you forever, right? So I think it's really about the thinking process, and
Yes.
very important. And totally agree that we need to know how a computer like a process is the key point.
Yes.
Yeah, Tony has another question. Yeah, I actually have another 20 questions behind, but Tony, it's your turn again. US is trying to isolate China, especially technology area. For the new generation from China, Hong Kong, how can we overcome this situation? How to equip ourselves? That is another question. In your perspective, as a young talent individual in China who have good experience in Hong Kong and also in United States, so we would like to hear from Vincent again.
So let me repeat the problem. Repeat the question. So
Question
try
is,
to understand.
US is trying to isolate China, especially
Yes.
in tech area. For the new generation like you, okay, like many of us here, I'm the old-fashioned. You guys are the young people. How can we overcome this situation? And again, I think that will can be extended in another angle. People in China or people saying we are doing great. Okay, we are doing so well. And is that the case, or we do have some lag behind in certain domain, or how can we cope with this? What we can do, in your opinion? Do you think you see many talent like you who got experience in US or Europe or every part of the world and come back to China because you see more opportunities there? What's your opinion? I think this question can be more generalized. Yeah.
Yes. So I have to say this is very good. So so there's a very famous story with this industry. For example, if you know Yahoo, right? I believe everybody knows Yahoo. So Yahoo, like 20 years ago, Yahoo was the star of the internet, was the star of the internet. But 10 years later, which is maybe in 2010, Yahoo didn't work anymore, and Google worked. Google became the new star of the industry. So what I'm trying to say is that what I don't know how to say it properly in English, but what I'm trying to say is what beats another product, it, it will never be the same product. So if you want to catch up very quickly in one industry, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be the same product. Because if you're trying to build exactly the same product or similar products, you're never going to catch up. So you're trying to they have all the resources, they have all the clients, they have everything, but you don't, but of course you don't. So that's why you're catch up. So you're trying to catch up. So what I'm saying is what beats a project, you will never be the same thing. So let me put one example, one thing for example, which is a supercomputer. So supercomputer, as everybody knows, that China and the United States are doing very good, very well in this industry, within in the supercomputer thing. But if you're just trying to catch up with a supercomputer, it doesn't work anymore, because the United States definitely has more talents and more the experience and all the things than China. So what China is doing that is trying to focus on quantum computers. So the quantum computers is the next leading technology within this industry. So what I'm trying to say is, you don't, even though the United States is trying to isolate China, but what they are isolating is purely based on the existing technology or the current major technologies. What China can do is they can try to leap through this phase and focus on new technology, which will eventually replace this kind of technology. So that is my opinion.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, very nice. So many good questions. Time is running out. We only have 10 more minutes. Feel free to raise your questions. Again, now we're talking about like Microsoft and then LinkedIn. So maybe we can talk a bit more about what makes you move back from US to China? Is it you already have this like a big money for you to raise, found a company, or is because you know you are done with all this you want to bring all this good technology back to China? What makes you come back to China?
Frankly speaking, it's not about like those things. So what I'm thinking is that so when I was in the United States, I always wanted to do something by myself. But when you're working one job, you don't have the energy and you don't have the energy to focus on your own projects. So that is why I think if I want to really do something, I have to quit my jobs. So so I didn't know a lot about what I have to do before quitting. So basically I quit with nothing in my mind. So I just think that I have to do something. So the one thing that I went back to China is because I think China definitely has more potential in every industry. So technology industry especially. So for example, in the United States, we have five technology giants, but in China, you only have two. So when I came back to China, you do see a lot of the newcomers, newcomers of the technology. For example, the Didi, Toutiao, and Meituan. So they all excel in certain industry, in certain sectors of technology. So the thing is, you might not be able to know what you have to do before coming back. So when I first came back, I didn't actually know what I need to do. So not until now, that I'm trying to do a lot of the investment and the real estate work. So yeah, it takes time for me to figure out what I need to do.
I guess the real question behind is with solid EE training, our graduate can go along into different sector in the modern society, because every part of our daily life is immersively like a load with technology. And I think with the solid understanding of technology, you can become a global talent. So I guess I can continue to ask maybe two more questions. The first question is like again related to China. So you know the Greater Bay Area. In your slide, you also talk about like Greater Bay Area has a lot of potential. So what do you see in China when you say technology is growing so fast in terms of the Beijing area, Shanghai area, like Chengdu area, or Wuhan area, or even like a Greater Bay Area near Hong Kong. So how do you see that in your perspective? So maybe you can share more with us, because I really think that we Hong Kong people especially our like a university student or high school student, we really need to know more from people like you. You have experience from Hong Kong. Whatever you are saying will be more relevant to us.
Um, one thing I have to mention is that Hong Kong is the global hub famous for every country. So everybody knows Hong Kong. So Hong Kong has its own industry. For example, the tourism, the logistics, the finance and stuff. So because Hong Kong is a such famous and such established city, so it do have its strengths against every single other city in China, even against Shanghai. So today we have the Greater Bay Area planning. So Shenzhen has a very special thing, which is that it's famous for its technology innovation. So it has Tencent and some other very famous technology companies, including Huawei and Dajiang. So I do believe that Hong Kong people can try to synergize with Shenzhen on their technology front for better results. For example, Hong Kong can leverage its financial talents and financial experience and the financial things with Shenzhen's technology to achieve better results for both cities. So I think this is one thing. Another thing is that everybody knows that the Shenzhen and Dongguan and Guangzhou, they are the manufacturing base for the world. So they are the reason China is called the world factory. So Hong Kong do have the position to lead them in, for example, talking with other countries and to do international trading. So I think for Hong Kong people, they do have to catch up with this chance and to communicate more with Shenzhen, with Great Bay Area cities in order to gain to gain the greatest benefits for Hong Kong self.
Thank you, Tony. It's your third question tonight. You are very popular. Thank you for that. I think you raised a very good question. If we want to build a technology hub in Hong Kong, which we already have a lot of substance here, so what is the key foundation that we need to build? I will have a follow on like a comment on that, but I will leave this to Vincent to reply first. Yeah.
You mean
What
what's
is
the first?
key foundation that we need to build for our Hong Kong like people or Hong Kong as a whole? What we really need to build? Yeah.
I think it's the atmosphere. So what I'm saying is a lot of people in Hong Kong, they don't feel like technology is something I have to do in my life. Because maybe Hong Kong people, all they know is about all they want to do is to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, to be a banker or something. So they don't have a lot of the interest of doing technology in Hong Kong. So this is the most important thing I feel is that Hong Kong people, they need to have the atmosphere to work with technology and to try to build their own cities to be a technology hub. So that is the most important thing I feel.
Cool. Yeah. Due to the time limit, we only have 3 more minutes to go. I would like to ask my last question and also conclude our sharing tonight. My last question is, yeah, Vincent, you have no problem to access this Zoom for tonight, and you can see you get to use Google, Gmail, and you spend your time in US. Now you are now in China. People saying the Great Firewall limit everything. So can you let us know your daily life? Are you living under the Great Firewall and you only have a very little space to navigate the internet? What's your opinion on that? I think we really need to let more people know the situation in China. Obviously, I know, but I want you to tell people here, yeah, and also people who watch the video. How is your daily life navigating the internet?
So when I first came back to China, I'll say it was a little bit like a discomfort for me because I didn't have access to Google anymore. I can't use Google email like as the way I used to do. So, but the longer you're in China and you will find that you don't actually need these things because every apps you're using in the United States, you have a how say a similar thing in China, similar app in China, and the apps in China they're just more diverse and they have more tools than the ones in the United States. So this is one thing. Another thing is that so this kind of the Great Firewall, so this is like a barrier. So they're trying to barrier the internet, the foreign informations from the Chinese people. They also barrier Chinese information to the world. So so what I'm trying to say is that, for example, when Donald Trump, they posted something on Twitter, he tweeted all day. So the Chinese people cannot see it directly, and they also cannot post it directly. So that is like a dual way blockchain block system for both parties. So so what I'm feeling is that we are living in kind of two different internet systems, and the one system has each system has its own features, and of course you can also access Google with VPN and all stuff, but in China I don't think just need it generally.
Cool. Yeah. Once again, I would like to say thank you to Vincent for his amazing sharing tonight. If you do enjoy what he shared with us tonight, please watch the video again. You can always find all the video on YouTube channel, and also share with your friends. Let them know how amazing the sharing tonight is about. And just to conclude, Vincent, he's an alumni of us, and he's interested to provide further support to the department. And we hope you guys could become also a member in our department. So just a highlight for the upcoming event. So you can see this is a page. We are planning different kind of event, like coming up with a rocket next week. And then we also have quite a number of alumni. They're going to share about their journey. And May also work in Amazon, Apple and Georgia Tech and other famous university, and also UT Austin. And we are going to have a couple of sharing coming up, even for Yu-Yi. She graduated from EE and now became a high school STEM teacher in Hong Kong. So the career perspective is very broad, and I hope the sharing could inspire us, and also we can learn how fascinating the future is about. And finally, my sharing would be if you want to watch the video, you can always go to the channel. All the video has been recorded. You can watch all the video again. Once again, this is the closing for tonight. We wish you all a wonderful time, and hope to see you again. Vincent, let's get a meal together. Yeah, we hope to see you again.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, if you like our sharing, please type OK in the chat room and let us know. Thank you for that. Bye bye. 拜拜了，Vincent，讲得非常好，太棒了，谢谢你，好，再见，
谢谢。
再见。